I don't hear anything. Are
Oh
you?
no, there we go. Sorry, I just had to equip to push to talk.
Do you have to push to talk?
Yeah, I have to do push to talk for it. It's fine, it's fine. Anyway, thank you for being very professional about this. I'm biased. I don't think that what you do is bad. Well, but you're a human being. Think everybody deserves respect in that aspect. So anyway, let's get into it. So from your mouth, from you, the person of this story, why exactly do you cheat? I mean, I've done my research, but just from your point of view.
Well, to give like a full answer to that, I would have to say that the reason why I started cheating is probably not the same reason why I continue to cheat now. So it's the question, kind of maybe has like two answers. So, or maybe you get what I'm saying is like it's two
Yeah,
questions.
because I know about the whole story of how you had a cheater friend, and then you know he got banned and you got banned as well for association.
Well, the people that I know that are cheaters or that were cheaters before me, they get banned all the time and they come right back. So,
Right.
so for me, I started cheating mostly. It's, I don't want to say embarrassing to say this, but in a way, I kind of felt pushed into it. Like, I don't want to say forced because I did choose it, but I definitely felt like pressured into doing it.
You felt pressured into cheating.
Yes. I did
Okay.
to
All
some
right.
degree. To some degree, like I wasn't forced. I made the choice to, but I felt pressured into it because of the way that it happened. And in order to, I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into it, but if you're really looking for answers, I could explain that to you. What I mean by that.
I'm just trying to give you your opportunity to just try and give everything you can from you, because obviously if it's coming from you, nobody can taint it.
well,
So
well, they do.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you said Spook and Jukes has tainted your taken you very much out of context. This is your opportunity, uncut, to just reply and say what you need to say, really. So go ahead, the floor's yours.
Okay, okay, all right. So what happened was, like I said, I would always have open lobbies and I would play with whoever. And every once in a while there would be cheaters that would come into the lobby and I was of the opinion of, hey, it's a game, it's fun, it's funny, they're cheating. The way that I saw it was not like, okay, so there's this I don't want to say misconception, but there's this idea that, and I know this from all the comments that I get. Everybody says like, imagine being so bad at the game that you have to cheat to win. You're only cheating because you're so bad. If you're cheating, that means you're bad. You would only cheat if you were bad. Like everybody has this, not everybody, but it's this very common idea that the only reason that anyone would cheat in a video game or maybe in anything in life or whatever, is because they're bad and can't win without the cheats and they want to win. And it's all about winning at any cost. And the way I see it is most of the people that I know that are cheating are not doing it because they're bad and they want to win. They're doing it because for other reasons, like such as the game got boring to them and they're looking for another way to have fun with it, or they have fun doing those things that you're not supposed to be doing. Maybe they have fun being deviant and breaking the rules, and it's fun for them. I'm not speaking for every cheater, but a lot of the ones I know, they just think it's fun and funny, and they have a good time doing it. They're not doing it because they're trying to win, and they can't win because they're bad. And I don't know if people really think that that's the reason everyone's cheating, or if they're just uh trying to get the cheater to like, I don't know, they're trying to like bully the cheater into not cheating anymore by saying you're so bad. Like, I think they're just trying to insult the cheater. I don't know what the motive behind these comments are, but it's always the same comments over and over. You're so bad. Imagine being so bad. Anyone that cheats is because they're bad. And maybe they just think like, well, they wouldn't cheat unless they were bad. I don't know. Anyway, without going too far into that, the idea that I'm trying to say is that the people that I knew that were cheating were doing it to be funny and having fun with it. They just genuinely found it fun. Now, what they found fun about it may have been different things. Maybe they found fun out of like bullying the other person, like bullying the killer if they're survivors. And maybe they found fun out of like, for me, what I find fun, probably the most fun, is so every time you get banned and you come back, your MMR is reset to the lowest, which is 650. And so every time you make a new account, you're at the lowest MMR, you're playing with babies. Now, at the lowest MMR, the survivors are at a big disadvantage. The killer has an advantage. So the way I see this game from my experience is that at the low MMR, it's very killer-sided. The killer has the power. The survivors don't really know what to do. They're hiding. They don't know where the gens are, and then when they get to a gen, they don't even, they're reluctant to repair it, and then when they repair it, they miss their skill checks, and then they freak out and they hide, and they're not being very productive or efficient. They don't know how to take hits for each other when needed or when to trade hooks. They don't know how to play the game. There's so many perks, so many add-ons and items and just different aspects to the game. So many killers. Every killer has a different power. They're just beginners. They're scared. They don't know what they're doing. They're afraid to encounter the killer. It's very killer-sided. The killer's running around with a weapon and a power and just, dominating. So when I first started playing, I took a liking to Bubba, and you play 50 games and you're just bashing survivors because they don't even know what to do. But then after you win 50 games or 50 to 100 games, whatever, suddenly everybody's looping you like crazy. And you're like, now you can't even get a down or a hook. And suddenly you're like in the big leagues with the players who know how to loop. And when you get there in the higher MMR, it's very survivor sided. I feel, especially if you're like if it's a Swift, and teams that are communicating, it can be very survivor sided at that.
No, I agree with that. That's true.
So for me, one of the fun things to do is, well, I come back on a new account. I'm at the lowest MMR. There's babies there. They're not very efficient. The killer's going after them hard, tunneling them, camping them, hooking them, downing them, like their chases don't last. And I come in and just be silly and save them when they, when all hope is lost. They're in the basement, killer's camping it. I come in from underneath the map, save them. They get downed again. I wiggle them out of the killer. They get downed again. And I'm just doing things to help these, what I call is like saving the potatoes. And I just think it's funny to shift the entire balance and make people who like don't get to escape. Now suddenly they escape and the whole game is just like turned upside down. The killer's used to slaughtering these survivors and suddenly, they're not in control anymore. And I just think it's funny to get the reactions, not even so much from the killer, but from the other survivors. And you get this whole array, like this whole vast difference, a spectrum of reactions, and some survivors clearly think it's funny and they roll with it, and if you get down they heal you, and when they get to the exit gate they're teabagging the killer because they probably never get to escape very much at all, and so this is a turn of events for them. So from their perspective, these killers keep tunneling me out and I can't, I'm having a terrible time. All of a sudden cheater comes in like a superhero and keeps saving them and flips everything upside down. And so you have the ones that really love it or think it's funny or at least find the humor in it and roll with it. Then you have the ones that are like indifferent. They look at you and they shake their head no, but like they kind of help you, but then they don't, but they don't know. And then other ones like try to point you out to the killer. Other ones give up. Other ones just go to the killer and die. They try to kill themselves. They want out. Other ones report you. Other ones send you friend requests. And to me, it's just funny to see all the different reactions of how people take the game and that experience. And I know that they're not going to get a hacker in every single game they play, and probably not very many games at all. So it's like one game for them where something's different, you know. And I don't really hack much on killer. Like, I've only done it because people request it. But like I said, at the low MMR like that, when you make a new account, I don't feel like you have to hack on killer, because it's so easy to just get a 4K with pretty much any killer at low MMR. But so I would do things where I would like pick up the survivors and fly them to the moon and just do something outrageous that they never see, take them out of the map, outside of the map, and do silly things. And then if they don't quit, you know, I would let them live, because I don't get anything out of killing baby survivors. I let them live anyway. So my thing about it, the reason why I do it, is to try to make things fun and different for a game for people. And like I said, some people love it, some people hate it, some people are somewhere in the middle. I've gone in Survivor and done things to killers, and the killers in the in-game chat will say, you know what, like, that was fun, like, thank you, like, and they're like, you showed me a good time, you know. But then you get the opposite, you get the people that hate you for it. So personally, what I get out of it is just funny moments. And I am a content creator, and I don't know if you watch any of my TikTok my TikTok videos or my YouTube shorts, but I just take these funny clips that happen in games. Like, I'm editing one right now, right? And the one I'm editing right now it was end game, and I'm a survivor going against a Wesker, and it's at the end game. And I guess I would have been cheating the entire game, and I probably didn't like show that I was cheating. I don't know if he knew, but not till the very end, when the end game timer's clicking down. And my hacks got bugged, and I was like running at super speed, and I couldn't even slow down. Like, I couldn't even go at normal speed. It was just like bugged, and I'm running like really fast. So we're at the circus area on, I think it's Crota's Pren Asylum. And I'm just running in circles around the Wesker, and I'm like, catch me if you can, Wesker, catch me if you can. And he's trying to do his virulent bound, like his lunge thing. And we're over by the circus, by the Maurice, the horse and all that. And then I'm just running in circles as the timer's going down. I don't care if I'm going to die in the game, like, whatever. And I'm like, catch me if you can. I'm just taunting him and running around. And he actually does the lunge, and he gets me at the last second. And he throws me across the map, but the timer runs out. The entity comes and grabs me. And it's me looking stupid as a hacker, taunting the killer, but ending up dead for it. And I just think it's funny. I don't know how, like, I know some people see the humor in this stuff because it's different and it's silly and it's funny, and I do. Sometimes I just laugh at like a moment happens like that, and I'm like, okay, I got to clip that because that's funny. I'm going to make a short out of that. So for me, like, the fun part is that. Now, at the same time, I want to be clear that, like, I have friends that want to play this game with me, and I don't want to jeopardize their accounts, and they don't want to be in a game with a hacker. So there are games and streams that I play completely legit. I don't have hacks, and I'm just playing Survivor normally. The past week, I streamed for like 32, well, probably more now, because I did the other night, the other 2 nights. So we're probably looking at like 40 hours in the past, let's just say like 2 weeks, where I was streaming completely legit games, Survivor, Killer, a lot of Nurse gameplay. Like, I prefer to play Nurse legit. Like, I have no desire to hack on Nurse. And sometimes, actually quite a lot, I get completely rolled on Nurse. Like, I get steamrolled because I like to play without perks and without add-ons. So it's like I have these 2 extremes. One is like all the powers you can have on Survivor and doing silly stuff for fun. And then I have this whole other thing that I'm doing where I'm playing Nurse with no perks, no add-ons, no offerings, going up against the hardest survivors at the highest MMR, and I lose a lot. And you know what? I have fun doing both. So to me, it's just about keeping the fun in the game. And at the end of the day, it's a video game. Like, I think that's the problem that people don't keep in context. They take this so serious and they live their life around Dead by Daylight. And I mean, and I know they take it so serious because of the comments I get and because of the direct messages I get. I mean, I've literally gotten death threats over this game. I get people wishing um, cancer upon my mother. They want to, see me drown in a, like, I can't even say, like, in a, a crap tank. And the things that they say to me, it's just like, these are really upset people. Um, my dog is sick and old, and like, he almost died recently. And I have people telling me like, oh, when is your dog dead yet? Are you going to make a video of putting him down? Like, you know, the things that these people say is just like, they say I'm a bad person, but like, I don't think I'm a bad person compared to the things that they say. Like, I'm cheating in a video game to make funny videos to entertain people. And yeah, it's at the expense of somebody not getting a 4K for a single match or something, but people are really taking it out of context. It's a video game. But back,
Yeah, I don't think anything from a video game like that, like even though you're hacking, I don't think it should resort to those kinds of comments. And I really am. I'm sorry that you do receive them because,
I
again,
mean,
like I said at the start, you're a human being. Everyone is entitled to respect. Everyone has their own
but
rights.
that's just the internet, and that's
Yeah.
YouTube, and that's DBD. But back to, if you want to know, like, what actually, okay, it's like, what actually pushed me to the point where I said, yes, I'm going to hack, right? So I was in these games here and there with friends, and they would do silly stuff. So I remember specifically, like, I have some videos on it. There was the rift in the sky on those certain those events where they have like the thing in the sky that looks like almost like a void in the sky. And I would tell, I would be in games with friends, and I would say, oh, fly up into the thing into the rift, the void in the sky, and shine your flashlight like, you're being abducted by aliens. And I would just clip these things that you don't normally see in games that are silly and funny. And yeah, I thought it was humorous because it's just different. You don't see it, and so what happened basically was I was just dumb about it. I did it openly. Like, I went in games openly, watched these things, recorded them, posted YouTube videos of them. And I knew that eventually, like, I was going to lose my account. It's kind of like inevitable. It's not like, I mean, I knew it was bound to happen eventually. But what happened was, it went on for so long where I would, over the course of a year, just here and there, play with hackers, but I'd play with legit people and everything. And I never hacked at that time. But over the course of, like, it went on for like, I don't know, at least a year, maybe a year and a half. And nothing ever happened. And everybody would report me in these games because they would think I'm cheating. Like, if I'm with cheaters and I get wiggled out of a grasp, like as if I have DS when I don't, decisive strike, and I just break free, but I don't even have it. Everybody in that match gets reported because the killer doesn't know who's hacking half the time. They just know, well, I can't hook this person. But even though it's not me doing it, like, I've been in games where my body was hijacked literally by the hacker, and I couldn't even control myself. Like, I was vaulting things midair and flying in the sky, and like, I wasn't even in control of my character. And I would laugh at it, and I would, put it to songs like I Believe I Can Fly, or, I'm Like a Bird, I Want to Fly Away, or Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. And I would just like put songs to the videos and show these silly clips because you don't see this in every game. Like, yes, DBD's buggy and sometimes you see weird stuff. And at first, when I saw things where people were like floating on hooks and stuff, I thought they were hacks, but it turns out in most cases they were just bugs. So I couldn't even tell the difference between what was a hack and what was a bug because the game was so buggy. But after, instances where I got reported all the time, Behavior, I would imagine, saw my account, saw there's no hacks on this account, so we're not banning this person. But eventually, like, people that would watch would catch on to the fact that I was with people that were doing stuff. And I wasn't really hiding it. We would joke about it. You know, I'd be like, activate wiggle power. And then they would break free of the grasp of the killer and things like that. So we were like joking about it. Eventually, a lot of people would take my videos straight off my YouTube channel that I posted, and they would send them to Behavior and be like, look, this person's openly cheating. And I can't imagine how many times I was reported and videos were sent. But I think what happened was Behavior probably needed some kind of like actual proof that I was in these games, that it really was me, that it was my account, that it was linked to my account, that I had knowledge of this, that this was happening. I wasn't, that I was deliberately or intentionally pairing up with these hackers, that I was essentially guilty. They needed some kind of proof, right? So a lot of
Oh
people,
yeah.
I would imagine that's why I never got banned, because maybe they just never had the proof, because you could always say something like, oh, well, these games are edited, or they're custom games, they're offline servers, they're whatever. You could always, I suppose you could argue one way or another if you wanted to, but I didn't do that. But I'm guessing they probably needed some kind of like hard proof that this was what was happening, right?
Yeah, I take it this was before the actual report system, like there was the update that came out. Yeah, it must have been.
I
Anyway,
don't
yeah,
know.
sorry.
I don't know when the update came out.
Came out recently. Anyway, please continue.
So basically, there was this one day we were playing, and like I said, I always had open lobbies; anyone could join. And I always put my Discord in the link. And now I got to probably crack down more on security, because people are after, you know, the recent videos on me and stuff. People are trying to infiltrate the Discord and cause others grief, and they're sending hate messages to people that are just on my friends list or in my, you know, in my Discord or something. Other people that they're like literally stalking people that I know to attack those people to get to me, and it's a little crazy. But so what happened was, one day we were in a Discord call, and we were just gaming regularly, and one of the cheaters was in there, and he was streaming his screen in my Discord call. And I never watch when people are streaming in my Discord, so I wasn't even watching it or aware that he was doing it. But some random person came in that none of us knew. And so we had a group of people in there that were just hanging out. Some were in the game, some were not in the game, some were just hanging out in the Discord. We were all just yapping as usual. And some random person comes in that we don't know. Excuse me. And his name was Sheriff something. Which is kind of ironic, because like a sheriff is like, you know, the cops coming to get you. But it was a very weird thing that happened, because he just hopped in and started talking to us as if he knew us. And everybody's kind of like wondering silently, like, who is this person? Is he your friend? Is he your friend? We don't know who this person is. Nobody knew who they were. I guess they kind of just claimed to be a viewer that just jumped in from the Discord, which has happened plenty of times. I've had it where like the killer in the game came in the Discord or whoever. So they come in, and then like my mods start getting these messages, these notifications that are saying stuff like, someone is recording your phone, your Discord voice chat. Somebody's recording this. And they were getting these messages like that. And so we said it like, okay, so, we're getting messages that somebody's recording this conversation. Anybody know what's going on here? Like, we just called it out and we're saying that. And then this random person that was in there, they just kept changing the subject, and they would be like, so what do you think about Stranger Things coming back to DBD? And they would just say like some off topic thing like, oh, what do you think about Demogorgon? And we'd be here like saying, somebody's recording this conversation. Anybody want to say something? And so this person was acting very weird, like they didn't belong there. We were getting notifications that things were being recorded. They were changing the subject, playing stupid, acting as if we weren't just saying what we were just saying about the conversation being recorded. I guess they got kicked out. Somebody kicked them out and banned them from the server. I don't know who that was. And all I know is it was like, I want to say like the next day, maybe it was the next couple days, but I feel like it was very like soon after that happened that suddenly my account was banned. And the general consensus there is that somebody infiltrated the Discord to get some kind of proof, because that person was watching the hackers stream in my Discord, which I wasn't even watching. I didn't even know he was streaming it. But so I guess whatever the case is, that person got whatever evidence they needed for behavior. I don't know if that was an employee for behavior, or if it was just somebody doing something on their own to try to get evidence. I don't know who that was.
So someone came into the Discord, recorded a call that was going on while someone was streaming, presumably hacking on the game, and they sent that to behavior, and that's how you got banned.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they send that to behavior. To this day, I don't know who that person was or what they were doing there. But everybody's opinion that was in that call was that it was very suspicious, very weird. They didn't seem to belong there. They kept changing the subject. Something was being recorded that none of the rest of us knew about. And so it was just a very suspicious event that seemed like what I said. It seemed like somebody infiltrated the Discord to gather some kind of proof or evidence that was needed in order to actually get my account banned, because very shortly after that, my account was banned. I didn't even know my account was banned, because when it gets banned, it just says no internet connection. And so I just thought, okay, there's a problem with the internet. Something's not working. But my friend, who actually is a hacker, he said, no, that's a ban notification. You're banned. And I'm like, okay, well, is it permanent? Is it like a week? Is it a month? Like, how do I find out? And he's just like, it's most likely permanent, and that's it. You're not going to get your account back. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, if I really wanted to be smart about it, before, I would have been, going on a fake account when I was doing this stuff. But I just took the risk and used my normal account, and I just whatever. I kind of knew eventually this was likely going to happen. It wasn't like a big surprise, and I didn't think that behavior was in the wrong for doing it. What I did was I tried to go through the process of appeals, where it says, okay, well, if you've been banned, click here and make some kind of appeal and submit it to behavior. And that's what I did. I don't know if I went through the right channels, but I followed whatever channels there were to submit an appeal. And in my appeal, I said something to the effect of, I'm assuming this is why I was banned. I was playing with hackers. I was queuing up with hackers and making content of it. And I'm guessing, like, I never got a statement that said you are banned and this is why. So I took it upon myself to appeal and say, I'm assuming this is what happened. You guys banned me because I was playing with a cheater. And I just said, look, I did put a lot of time and effort into grinding the account, and I did put a lot of money into it, and I would like to have it back. I understand if I can't get it back, like, the punishment is valid. I'm not trying to say I'm in the right and that I'm not trying to say that I'm innocent. I just basically asked for leniency and said, if you would consider giving my account back, I understand the severity of what I did now. And if you would consider giving my account back, all I can do is just promise that I would not intentionally queue up with hackers again or make content of it. Like, that's all I could do. I could just ask for leniency and ask for another chance. And that was it. Now, I know there would be people that hear this or whatever and say, well, you shouldn't have another chance because you knew what you did was wrong and it was the crime of the century. And in fact, you should get the death penalty for such a horrific crime that you've committed. Whatever. I'm not saying I should have gotten another chance. I was just making the one effort that I could to see if I can get my account back, and with the promise that I would just not do this anymore. Like I wanted my account back because I cared about it enough that I was like, I put work into it. I put time into it. And like I said, I didn't say this today, but I've said this before, but I never had intentions of hacking in this game. I never cared to. I thought it was funny and silly to watch other people do it. Like I was amused by it, but I never personally wanted to do it. I wasn't going to pay for hacks. I wasn't going to buy them, spend my money on them. I didn't want to really lose my account. I didn't want to deal with hacking and have to come back on new accounts. I just didn't have an interest in hacking. Although I did see from a perspective of a content creator that it's interesting and different content. And there's not a lot of people making content on it. There's probably a lot of hackers. I don't know what you want to say a lot is, but there's probably not a lot of people that were just blatantly making videos of it. So I thought it was interesting. And as people tell me that it's interesting to see that perspective, to see what the hackers can do, just see that point of view that you don't normally see. So yes, I found it interesting. One of the first things I saw that was hacks is I went in the lobby. I was in a survivor lobby, and there's Bubba standing next to me with the survivors and his chainsaw. And I thought it was the funniest thing. I'm like, why is Bubba on the survivor team here? Like, what is this? And it was a hacker that was targeting TTVs and streamers. And when I say targeting, I don't mean to like ruin their game, but just, I guess, targeting people that were live streaming, because I guess when hackers are having fun doing this stuff, it's more fun for them to see that they're in a game with a live streamer and getting reactions from that person in their live stream. And everybody has more fun when it's like Twitch streamers and they're live and getting reactions and stuff. So then I was in a game where it was a hillbilly, and he picked me up and took me to the moon, and he dropped me off on a rooftop somewhere. And I thought it was funny. Like I think it was a Bubba trying to kill me, because the Bubba was the real killer. And then the hillbilly was trying to save me from the Bubba. And he would pick me up before Bubba could and take me and put me on the roof so Bubba couldn't pick me up. And I just thought it was the funniest thing because, like, at that time, it was just different and funny. It was different from your typical Sweatfest DBD game. And so then back to the story where I got banned. Nothing happened as far as the appeal. I took a break from Dead by Daylight and said, you know what, I'm just going to step away, assess the situation, try to collect my thoughts, and decide what my best option is. Do I want to buy the game again? Do I want to buy the cosmetics? Do I want to buy the characters and then grind for the perks? Like, what are my options here? Do I want to quit the game completely? Stop playing? Like, I've been banned. My account's gone. What are my options? I just stepped away and wanted some time to process what happened and how I was going to respond to it. That was it. I wasn't going to like jump to any conclusion or any particular action. So I stepped away and said I wanted to give it a few days, a week, whatever it was. So next thing I know, one of the hackers said to me, they said to me, well, I talked to my boss, which would be someone in the hacking that makes the hacking software. And I didn't ask them to do this. So like what I'm trying to say is this person had previously told me, oh, like, when are you going to get hacks? You should do this. You should hack and make these videos. It's funny. It'll get you more views on YouTube. They encouraged me previously. They didn't push me and like try to force me to do it, but they suggested it here and there. This would be funny if you do it. They'd be like, you're funny to watch when you play legit. I can only imagine how funny you would be if you were hacking. And they encouraged me to try to do it. And I always said, nope, I don't want to hack. I'm just not interested. Like, you can do it. I'll watch you. I'll get the videos from my perspective of the funny things you're doing, but I just don't have an interest in going there. I liked playing legit. I liked the challenges. Um, and I know people will say, well, you weren't playing legit because you were playing with a hacker. Okay, but the hacker games I was in, I wasn't playing legit because I wasn't caring about the games. Like, I wasn't sweating to crank out the gens and escape so I can boost my account. Like, I was half the time not like doing anything. Like, I would stand on a hill and watch these things that are happening. Or I would feel bad for the killer, and I would deliberately or I would intentionally go up and let them kill me at the end and be like, I felt bad that they just faced a hacker, and I would be like, because I'm a killer main, I would say, and so I always sympathize with the killers, and the hackers are there. I'm not going to be able to stop them, but I would feel bad, and I would go and say, okay, kill me, put me on the hook at the end, at least get a kill, But when I was playing legit without a hacker, with real friend, like with friends that were playing without hacks, let me put it that way, not real friends, but what I mean to say is they're all real friends. But what I mean to say is like the real players that weren't cheating. When I would play with them, I don't want to say pride myself, but I would like the challenges, whether I lived or died, whatever. It was all about really trying to play the game and just win. And sometimes I would play with survivors that were really bad, that would like throw the game and just do dumb things. They couldn't last in chase. They bring the killer to your generator. They would get slugged at the hook and try to unhook at the dumbest times. And so I'd play with those kind of players, but then I would have other friends that were actually really good, and some would be like competitive players. And so some games I would go in, we would just be getting 4K all the time, because all it takes is like one weak link that's going to pull the whole team down if they get killed early and you're trying to protect them the whole time and you can't do gens. Or I would play with really good players that basically were like carrying me because they were just so good that I could sit on gens because they had the killer looped for however long, and everybody was efficient. Everybody was doing things. They weren't wasting time crushing totems and opening chests and lurking around in the bushes. They were actually on gens and doing things. So I've experienced the legit gameplay and all that. And so anyway, what happened was the hacker felt bad that my account got banned. And I mean, I would say his name. I just don't know. I don't think he cares, but I just don't. It's like, on one hand, I don't know if he wants the free promotion or if he just doesn't want to be whatever, but I guess I won't say it for sake of like people.
Is he like is he a YouTuber too or something?
TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, and I don't mind like plugging their names or stuff, but I don't expect you to share them. And I know that like, people are not trying to share that stuff because it's like, well, you're promoting the cheats and all that. But so I'll just like not say names for now. But what happened was, he genuinely felt bad that I lost my account because he knew that I didn't want to cheat, and he knew that I put a lot of time into it. I prestiged Nurse to 100. Other characters were highly prestiged. I had spent money on cosmetics and all that stuff. So he felt bad, and he approached his boss for the cheats and said, hey, look, my friend just got banned for playing with me. I feel bad. Because he lost everything. But the thing is, he's got a decent sized YouTube channel and TikTok and gets a decent amount of views and subscribers. And why don't you is it possible that you can give him access to all these hacks in exchange for him just posting videos? Because that's what some of these companies will do. They will give you the hacks for free, and you become an advertiser in the sense that you are just making content with them. Now, I don't go out and advertise in the way of like, I'm like, hey, you guys should get such and such cheats, and here's the link in the description, and you should go get this, and it makes the game so much more fun, and you better go get this now, and you're going to want to do this too. Look what you could do. Watch what I do, and this could be you. Like, I'm not advertising like that. I'm just playing the game using what I'm like, doing what I'm doing. I'm just having fun. And if anybody asks me, where can you get that? I will say, link in my bio, talk to me on Discord. And then when they come talk to me on Discord, if they do, because only like serious people will, but if they do, I will let them know up front and say, look, before I give you any links, like I want you to know what you're getting into. If you get into this, you're going to be getting banned every couple days. You're going to need a way to get new accounts. It's not just like, it's not just like, I don't know, it's not as simple as everyone thinks. Like, you have to know how to work that system to make sure that you're always coming back on new accounts. And sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes the programs don't work. Sometimes it takes longer to get things up and running. And there's a lot of like, I guess I say, like, you have to jump through a lot of like hoops, a lot of like rings of fire, basically. Like, you'll log into something and you'll get an error, and then you'll have to troubleshoot that error. But then after you troubleshoot that error, another error will pop up, and then you have to troubleshoot that error, and then another error will pop up. And then on top of all that, you finally get it working and you get in games and use it. And in 4 days, that account's going to be banned and you have to go back and do it all over again. And now let's say you get all that down to a science and it's all working for you. Now, guess what? A lot of people, well, maybe it's just me because I make content of it, but a lot of people hate you for this. Like, there's a lot of people that will hate you for doing this. And they don't sugarcoat it. Like, they come right at you. And like I was talking about earlier before, like death threats and, off yourself. And I hope this happens to you and that happens to you. And you're scum of the earth. You're a trash bag, this and whatever. And so I'm like, before you even get into this, like, just know what you're getting into. But if you're all prepared for that, here are the links, and do it at your own risk. And I'm not your support team, so take it up with the company. I'm just pointing you to where you can get them if in fact that's what you truly want. I'm not going out like a salesman going door to door to say, oh, you should get this, and I'm getting some kind of commission. I'm just playing, having fun, doing funny things. I'm more about making the content as a YouTuber, the silly videos, the shorts specifically, and like the 1-minute clips of just funny segments, whether they be hacking or not. Like, I make both. I make ones where I'm not hacking and ones where I am hacking. And then I get people that, it's so funny because I made a compilation recently of nurse blinks where I'm doing 360 blinks and grabbing people off gens after doing a 360 spin and like nailing blinks like that. And people are coming in and commenting on those videos like, oh, it would be cool if it wasn't hacks. And I'm not even hacking in those videos. That's my legit nurse gameplay. And that's my, the videos where I'm not even hacking, I'm getting comments where people are saying, oh, this is so bad because you have to use hacks. I'm like, well, where are the hacks in this game? They're like, well, obviously you're hiding them in OBS you're overlaying and hiding the hacks. I'm like, why am I going to blatantly show all these hacks on survivors with the menus up on my screen while I'm live streaming for 12 hours on this day, but then the next day I'm going to do a whole legit stream on a totally different account with no hacks on it, and like I'm going to go out of my way to hide the hacks on one and not the other? Like, what's happening is I'm doing one stream that's completely hacking, and then the next day I'm doing a stream where I'm completely playing legit. And that's also another interesting thing, because when I'm hacking, I get people in my comments saying, when are you going to play some legit games? I want to see your nurse again. And then when I go and I play legit nurse, I got people coming in and say, are you going to be hacking on Survivor tonight? And they're both requesting the opposite thing. So that's a whole nother interesting thing in and of itself. But what happened was this person went, so now see, back to the reason of like, why I said I'm doing it. Well, now it's in demand. Like, people are requesting it. And I find that I get, like, I want to say approximately 3 times as much traffic, views, subscribers, comments, interactions, engagement. Like, it's probably 3 times as much when I'm using hacks. And maybe that's just because it's more rare content. Like, you can go on YouTube, find all kinds of DBD videos, and you're going to get a lot of the same stuff. And every time a new perk comes out, oh, the new best perk, best tracking perk ever, best gen regression build or whatever. And you're going to get all these like people making videos on the same thing. And so it's like, this guy's going to make a video on me. And now someone else is going to make a video on me. And now you're talking to me to make a video on me. And I'm not trying to say that you're just trying to ride the wave of what's happening. You may genuinely be interested in this story and wanting to get the facts straight, which I appreciate if that's the case. But what I'm trying to
Oh,
say
hell
is,
yeah. No, look, yeah, just a bit more on that. I'm not angry at you whatsoever. You're just someone using the hack. So I'm more angry with just the people who are providing it and making it. That's that. I have absolutely no quarrel with you. That's exactly why I'm trying to get your side of things. But yeah, no, thank you. Anyway, please continue.
okay, well, I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know your agenda or your motive, because you flat out said, you came to me, and which I appreciate. You came to me and just said, well, I want to make a video exposing you. And I'm thinking like, okay, you want to like make me look bad, make me look worse than I already look. Okay. But, anyway, I like you so far. And I like the fact that you actually seem to want to hear my side of the story. I don't know how you're going to cut it up or what you're going to make me say, but so far so good. So, like I said, now I get people that request it, and I put out a video or a short, and I get people say, go live, and I want to play Survivor with you. And I get all kinds of people that, like just random people I don't know, and they just look at it and then they say it would be fun to be in a game with you. Maybe they get camped and tunneled and killed in every game. Maybe they don't really make it out the exit gates in most of their games. And so they want someone like me that's going to help them escape and turn the tables and give them a different ending for a change. I don't know what their reasoning for it. Maybe they just think it's funny. Whatever their reasoning is, I don't know, and I don't want to get them in trouble. They're not doing it every day, and they're not cheating. They just want to have an experience of playing in a game like that because they find it interesting. So I do silly things, like the killer downs someone. And that's another thing, is I let the killers, like, I'm not trying to ruin their games. Like a lot of these other hackers will, right off the start, like they won't let any killer get a hook. They won't let anyone get down. Like they're doing everything to make it so the killer gets no points. I don't do that. I try to let the killer get hooks. I like to let them get chases, downs. I let them down me. And people in my comments are like, you're so bad. You go down with hacks too. And I'm like, I'm not trying to stay up. Like, how do you get hooked when you're hacking? Oh, you're so terrible that the hacks can't even help you. And I'm like, I let him hook me. Like, I'm letting him get points. I like the, what do you call it? Like the surprise ending. I don't even know if I'm going to live or die in the end of every match. I don't go in saying like, well, I'm just going to, pop all the gens instantly and never get hooked and walk out the gate. Like that would be boring. To me, I like the interaction with the killer, and I decide, is this killer taking it well? Are they playing along with this? Are they being, do I like how they're interacting? And if they seem cool, it's like, you know what, kill me, or if they seem to be a certain way, like they're just trying to like I'm AFK in the beginning of a lot of matches because I step away for whatever reason, and I come back and I'm like, I'm already on death hook. The game just started. I'm already on death hook. We're at 5 gens. The killer sees someone AFK and they're just trying to eliminate them out of the game immediately to get an easy win. And I see that as like, I don't know, that's my one pet peeve. It's like, why you're gonna just like eliminate the one person who had to step away and could be dealing with, another problem, like whatever, like one game I loaded up and my dog started having a seizure and I had to step away from the game, come back and you're on death hook, a minute later and no gens are done and whatever. So I see that as like, oh, okay, that's the kind of player I'm going against. Okay, well, how about an infinite head on for you, and I'm not doing it to be like really toxic. I'm doing it to be like, okay, well, if this is how you play your games and this is how you treat the other people, then I don't feel so bad giving you a little taste of this, And so, yeah, it's kind of fun to have the power to turn the game however you want it. But at the same time, I like to let the game play out, and I like to let them hook me. Like I'll go on a normal chase, and yes, well, I have like wall hacks and stuff, but I'm not using everything to my ability. I let the chases happen. I let people get down, but I'll do silly things like someone will get down, right? And the killer picks them up and he's walking them to a hook. I already know what hook they're going to, so I teleport myself on top of the hook and I'm just standing there. By the time the killer is coming to hook them, I'm already standing on top of the hook. And I just think these things are funny because if the killer looks up and just sees me there, the reactions are hilarious. They just look at me. Or maybe it's a death slinger and he just shoots me up there on the hook and pulls me down. Or maybe they don't even notice me. And then I drop down and unhook the survivor. And I think that these reactions I get, specifically from the random survivors that are on my team, are just funny. Like I said, they do everything from play along with it and think it's funny to try to completely turn on you, kill you. Like there's a game I played the other day where the killer, that's what happened. I was AFK for a moment. I come back. I've been hooked. I've been hooked like twice. Everyone's basically dead except for me and this one other player. I think it was a Yui. And so what happened was the Yui, I'll just say it was a Yui, I'm pretty sure it was, but she teamed up with the killer, which I think was a huntress. And she teamed up with the killer right from the start to sell out everyone else, and the huntress was just going to give her hatch, and they were going around the map together, and she was pointing out everyone to sell them out. And I come back to this, and I'm like the last survivor. The two of them are getting everyone killed together, and I'm like on death hook, and I come back and I have hacks on. They don't know it. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. You're teaming up with the killer. Everybody else is dead. You're still at 5 gens. You guys are pairing up and you're trying to kill me now. Okay, well, let's have fun with this. So I start teleporting to all the gens and just putting progress on all the gens at once. Like, and I mean all the gens, like, not at once, but I would go to one, put progress on it. As soon as they found where I was, they were coming to kill me together. They were teaming up, the Yui and the Huntress, trying to find me. They'd come to one gen, I'd teleport to another, put progress on that one. I'm like, you guys want to just steal the game and get everyone else killed and team up and work together? Well, like, now play my game and, you know, catch me if you can kind of thing. Kill me if you can. And I'm like, gen hopping, putting progress on the gens, and this starts drawing things out, but I'm also being silly at the same time. Like I'm teleporting in front of the huntress, she hits me down, I pick myself up, I heal. Anyway, in this game, I messed up big time because I started to be funny and I wanted to show the Yui that I can pull like infinite items out of the chest, and I actually wanted to give her items. So I put down my med kit and I started opening the chest, pick up the flashlight and whatever. At this time, the huntress actually hits me with a hatchet. And if I'm not holding a med kit, I can't get up anymore. So the Yui's just like teabagging on me and they let me bleed out and I actually lost. So the funny part about it is like, I never know which way the game's going to go, even though I'm messing around. Could I have just won that if I wanted to? Could I have just popped the last gen and left? Yeah, I could have. But I was just taking the game in a different adventure, in a different direction, because they had already done that. They had already teamed up and tried to get everyone killed together. And now I tried to do a plot twist and turn it on them. But the plot twist in the end was I messed up and dropped my med kit and got down. The Yui didn't pick me up, and the two of them, you know, I bled out and the Yui got the hatch and they won that little game. But the funny part about it, it was a whole different game because it wasn't Dead by Daylight. It was Dead by Daylight turned into one survivor teams up with killer to kill everyone else, turns into hacker reverses it and trolls the two that were teaming up, turns into hacker messes up, gets down and bleeds out, and then the Yui and the huntress win. And the whole adventure is what's funny because I don't care that I died. It was just the uncertainty of the ending, you know. So anyway, you know, that's a rant on that kind of stuff and what makes it entertaining to people and to me from my point of view. But what happened was the guy's boss for the cheat said yes, and he granted me this advertiser status, right? And so the hacker comes back to me and says, okay, well, look, you have everything for free. Go, let's get you set up. And I said, but wait, I never agreed to this. I never said I wanted to be a hacker. Like I was taking a break to check my options and see what I can do. I was actually, what I really was waiting on a reply from Behavior, because I wanted to see if maybe they would work with me and give me another chance and get my account back. That never came. So the hacker said, what do you mean you're not going to do it? My boss already agreed to it. I got you set up. Like, you're going to make me look like an idiot now because I told him you were going to do it and now you're not going to do it. So he genuinely, out of care and consideration, wanted to get me everything back that I had lost, because he felt like somewhat responsible, because, well, it was playing with him specifically that put me in this situation. And while it was my choice to play with him because he's a friend, he still felt like he was partly responsible. We knew this was eventually going to happen at some point, but so he felt bad. He got me this access for free, but then I start telling him, no, like, I didn't agree to this. I'm not, like, I need time to, like, really think about what I want to do. So he gets kind of like, I don't want to say upset, but like, he feels like, hey, I just did this thing for you, and now you're making me look bad because I told my boss this one thing. Everybody's, wants you on board and whatnot. So basically, I reluctantly said, okay, well, I'll try it. I said, I'll try it for a month and just try it out just to see what happens, because he had already gotten me this access. And not only that, but the thing is, a lot of people want this position to advertise because a lot of people are paying for these hacks and the advertisers don't pay for them. So it's like people leave comments on my videos like, oh, imagine paying $40 a month for hacks and all this stuff. Well, like, I wouldn't do that, honestly. I didn't have any interest in hacking and I wasn't going to pay for hacks. So it was all given to me for free. And a lot of people want that, but they can't get it. And the reason why I got it, I guess, is because I had an audience and a YouTube channel, a TikTok, and I had already established that I was pulling in views. And people will mock me for that too and say, oh, you only get such and such average views on your videos. Well, the views fluctuate. Like, some videos might only get 100, some videos might only get 100 views, but others get a couple thousand. And there are other shorts that have 250,000, So the views vary, and I just post everything out there for the most part. Like, I do edited videos and I do edited shorts, but I also post out every game that I play because I just have it as like a diary and a record to show, like, a record of every game that I play. So it's like, if I played a game with you and you were such and such killer on this map and whatever happened, and then, later on, you can go back and watch my perspective. You could see what I was saying, how I was acting, what I had said about you, what we were doing in the game, whatever, whether I was hacking or not, whether I was playing a legit game or whether I was playing with hacks. You can go back and watch that game from my perspective because I just have it there as a record. Or if anybody questions what went on in that game, it's there somewhere. You might have to dig for it because there's so many, but I just like the idea of having a record of all the unedited games. No YouTuber out there is doing that because they are making sure that what they put out there is the best of their content. They make a video. A lot of them are going on Smurf accounts at low MMR and they're looping the killer for 5 gens and showing off like how great they are, or they're going in a low MMR game with a killer and bashing the survivors, and then they're cutting up their clips and showing like, look how great I am, I always get a 4K, or look how great I am, I always loop the killer for 5 gens and make them I spin them 10 times each chase and I'm so great. And they show all that stuff. but they never show the ones where they're getting destroyed or dominated, or they look bad because they just were defeated, right? So I post it all out there because at the end of the day, it's all a game, win or lose. You win some, you lose some. You hack on some, you still lose some. You play legit, you lose. You play killer, you win, you lose. Whatever. It's all fun and games, right? Like I really just try to keep this in perspective. At the end of the day, it's a game. You know, it's not. I'm not playing in a tournament for money. And if I was, you know, I don't think I'd be using hacks, because that is like cheating on another level. That is like, okay, now you're in a tournament, a competition, and you're cheating to win money and cheat the entire tournament and the competition. Like, okay, maybe that's like, I don't know. I've never been in the position to do that, so I don't know how I feel about that, but that feels like cheating. That feels like actual cheating. What I'm doing, like technically, yes, it's cheating, hacking, whatever, but in the way that I'm doing it is like, silliness, content, funny stuff. I don't see it as a game. Like I don't go in there and win and then trash talk the opposition and be like, oh, you're so terrible. Or I'm not going in there and pretending to play legit and subtly hacking for a little advantage to get a win. Like that does nothing for me. Like that's not, like, why even bother with that? Like I actually like the challenge of playing the game normally. If I'm going to play normally, like I appreciate and enjoy the challenge of trying to win, whether I win or lose, whatever. But the whole cheating stuff is more about the entertainment, the different kind of content. And that brings me to like these people that, some of them that that are making videos on like the hackers like me. And like, I'm sure you yourself understand that this is interesting enough that people will watch it and it will pull in some kind of views and some kind of viewership, some kind of audience. Now, you don't necessarily want to go in there and be the hacker and tarnish your reputation, whatever that may be, especially not if you're a big YouTuber with an established name who is known for calling out the toxicity and calling out the hackers and all that. So, like who recently made a video on me, right? So he can't go in there and showcase hacks. Like, I mean, come on, like that's not his thing. He can't do that. So what can he do? He can take my video clips and show the hacks, and he's pretty much advertising them just the same. The only thing is he's hiding the actual source of the hacks, but he's showing what the hacks can do. He's showing clips of me using them to say like, oh, look, they know where the hatch is. Oh, look, he can teleport here. Oh, he can blind the killer from over there. And he's still showing them off, just in a different way. And he's showing them off, and people are watching for the views because it's interesting, but he's painting himself as the good guy that's saying, look how terrible this is. Can you believe this guy would stoop to this level and do such a horrific thing? Like, this is just, cringe. But yet he's making that same content just from a different angle because he knows that content gets views. And it's just different, and people are interested. And while some will turn their head and say, I don't want to look at that, ew, gross, there's a lot of people that want to see it. So the reason for doing it now is, like I said, simply because it can be fun. It can be funny. Watching the reactions of other people. See, before, when I played Survivor, I was like, I am not playing solo queue. I will not go with randoms. That is just absolute torture. Going with randoms who let you die on hook. They don't save you. They don't do gens. They're like throwing the game. They're doing the dumbest things. I'm like, I will not play solo queue. I'm only going to play if I have a Swift, or at least I got to have one person on my team, hopefully two, and if I can, like a full Swift, so at least we can be on comms and communicate things. And even if they're not that good, at least I can have fun talking to friends on comms while we're losing. But the bottom line was, I never wanted to play solo queue because it was just torture. I know some people love it, but I never had that great. Every once in a while, you'd get a random. They're like, "Whoa, that random is cracked!" Like, I can't believe he made that play, and those are fun. But usually, for me, solo queue was torture. Never wanted to do it. I always wanted to play with Swift. The funny twist now is when I play with hacks, it's like all these people want to join me, and I'm like, I don't really want to join. I don't want them joining me. I want to go in with randoms because I want the reactions from the people that don't know what I'm doing. When I teleport to them and appear at a gen or at a hook or miraculously save them from the basement, I think it's funny to get the reactions from the people who don't know they're in a game with a cheater until they see it. And then I like to see the reactions of it. To me, it's completely flipped. Like now that's kind of the funny thing. So if you're asking why I do it, like these are the personal reasons, the content, the views, the people requesting it, demanding it. Like I said, views are 3 times as much. But why did I start doing it? Because it was like a trial period and I was trying to appease a friend who was trying to do me a favor by getting me back everything I lost. And I reluctantly said, okay, I'll try it. I'm going to try it for a month, see how this goes. So I messed with it for a month, and these are a lot of the results here. Now, on top of it, all the hatred that I've gotten because of it. Well, that too has become very interesting, and it has a somewhat of a backwards effect, right? Because they're hating me because they want me to stop hacking, and they want to bully me into not hacking by giving me so much hatred and tell me the community hates you. Nobody likes you. Don't you see how terrible your reputation is? None of us like you. Like, you're not accepted by us, right? And so they want to try to bully me into like a hole that I'm going to crawl away and like wither up and be gone, as if I'm the only hacker, right? As if I go away, the hacking problem is solved, of course. But so that's what they're trying to accomplish: to get me banned, get my YouTube taken down, get my TikTok shut down. They want to just bully me out of existence. And
Yeah.
I've always been the type of person that will resist a bully. So the more they do that, the more I stand firm and say, you know what, even though DBD is kind of getting boring, I'm not even having that much fun doing any of this half the time. On principle alone, I'm just like, you're not going to bully me into like, you know, and see, and the difference is what you're doing is different. And at least what I think you're doing, I don't care if you're going to twist my words around and make me say something I didn't say or take me out of context. There's nothing I can do to stop that. But from what I get from this, it seems like you genuinely want to hear my side of things. And if that's the case, I commend you for that. And I think that that is the road that people should be taking. That's what these other people who made videos on me should have done, and should have said, hey, let's like talk to this guy and see if we can come to some kind of rational common ground here. Let me see if I can understand what he's doing, why he's doing it, and maybe even compel him to stop doing it or something. But the bottom line is taking a reasonable approach and it's like you said, a mature conversation. If in fact that's what this is. I know I'm doing all the ranting, but you told me to take the floor and put it all out there, and that's what I'm doing. But if that's really what we're doing here, then I think that is a step in the right direction as far as communicating like human beings, and you know, not using the bully tactics, because the bully tactics are what I'm going to stand up against. I know my name is Trolling Prophet, but it's just a name. Like, I don't go out there to deliberately try to troll anyone. Yes, the hacks are kind of, I guess you could say they're trolling because you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing, and it's silly, and in a way it's a troll. But when I say like trolling, I'm not really trying to cause anyone serious grief. I don't want somebody to really be harmed by this in any way. I'm not really trying to ruin anybody's game or their experience or make them like hurt their feelings or have them uninstall the game out of frustration or definitely hurt themselves or anything of that nature. Like I don't get anything out of that. In fact, like that would bother me if I felt that I was really causing somebody some kind of serious emotional turmoil from this stuff. That's not the intention at all. Not my intentions at all. But the second somebody starts bullying me, like my mentality is like I will troll the trolls. You know, if they're gonna hit me with some backhanded compliment or like some kind of like under what do you call it, like a passive aggressive comment, or they're gonna attack me with some bully tactics or try to get me to, you know, like bully me into submission with their words and their hatred and stuff, like that's where I stand my ground. And I don't know, like I don't want to say like, you know, kind of like bully the bullies or troll the trolls, but like the only people that I don't care about griefing are those who that are going to start it with me. Like at the end of every game I play, whether it's with or without hacks, I say, good game, well played, good luck next. I start off with that every time. If somebody comes at me with something like toxic or inappropriate or nasty, okay, I might respond back and troll them back or say something back to them. Usually it's all in good fun. It's not really meant to be like, you know, they'll say, "Oh, you're so bad, you have to hack. You're such trash," or whatever. "You're so bad at the game. You can't win without hacks," or whatever. And then I'll say something silly like, "But I never lose." You know, and that's been my slogan now, like my catchphrase is like, "I never lose." And obviously like I lose a lot. Like I said, whether it be legit or hacking, I die when I hack. I lose when I play killer legit a lot. But it's just a funny thing to say to the people that are. It's just a dumb response. It's like, I never lose. I never lose. You can't stop me. I never lose. Like, it's just a persona. It's just a stupid act. And all this stuff about like me responding and being stupid and silly and stuff like, and those responses that I made, like, I wasn't going to sit there and really put the effort into making video responses. This person called me out, made a second video on me, said, "Well, why don't you explain what you mean?" And I said, "Okay, I'll explain what I mean." But at the same time, they mocked me for their entire video. So in return, when I made my response, I was basically just treating them with the same flippant kind of attitude that they treated me, like the satire and the mocking. And that's why I came up with the nickname Spook and Douche. And because it's like, I feel like if he sincerely wanted to make the community better and he really wanted to solve a problem or at least work towards a goal to solve a problem, he would have done what you did and approached me and said, "Hey, like I've caught on to what you're doing. People are sending me your videos. I've watched a little bit of it, but I want to hear straight from you, like what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you think it's okay. And just call me out to my face and confront me or whatever. You don't have to, you can hide my name if you don't want to promote me as you know, the hacker, whatever. You don't want to look like you're contributing to the problem. I get all that. Like you have a reputation to uphold and all that, but you know what I'm saying? It's like his approach wasn't productive. It didn't make anyone a better person. It didn't fix the problem. It didn't work towards a goal. All it did was create more toxicity, more mocking, more hatred, more attacking, more bullying. He didn't do anything constructive with his video. Now, if it was just to laugh at, because it was silly, like I laughed a little bit at it, but I just think that what he did was he fed these people, because maybe from his perspective it's not that serious, because maybe it's just a silly satirical video that he did. But from the perspective of his audience, who are like coming at me now with all the mocking and the hatred, which obviously like they're going to do that, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to put out something and then act like you're not responsible for how your community is going to respond to it, he's setting an example for them. He's setting the example saying that this person here is such a, like, this person is worthy of mocking and condemnation and just making fun of, and like, have at it. The first thing that I got were comments after he put that out. Immediately the comments were coming in with, oh, you just had a video made on you. You got embarrassed. You got humiliated. You got exposed. Everybody's laughing at you. Nobody likes you. What a clown you are. What a fool. You're such a joke. You're this, you're that. Like, that's the fruit of his video. That's the fruit of his labor right there. It didn't have anything positive to do for the community. It didn't have any conversation that led to, hey, like, maybe there's something behavior could do to prevent these kind of things from happening. And so one of the points that I made was the fact that I lost all my stuff and the fact that it was all given back to me for free. I'm not the only person that I've seen that happen to. I'm just the one who's known for it because I'm put out all these videos, right? But I've seen it happen to a few other people. And so what's happening is that whatever system is in place here is not making the problem better. It's making it worse. It's turning people like me who were actually, and when I say legit, I mean, I didn't have hacks on my account. So I wasn't technically a hacker, even though I occasionally teamed up with people who had hacks for fun times and silly videos that I was making, right? But I was also a customer of behavior. I was buying the Rift Pass. I was buying the cosmetics. I was buying every chapter, had all the chapters and the killers. And when I say this stuff, they take it out of context and say, oh, so wow, he paid for cosmetics? That's unheard of. Like, whoever does that? Oh, he bought the chapters. Like, they're just pulling it out of context to mock it. But what I'm trying to do is make a point and say that I was a customer of behavior. I was dropping money all the time with them. But when I lost all that, I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not saying they were in the wrong and I was in the right. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done that. But I'm saying as a result of everything that happened and I lost all that, the easy, simple route was that it was all given back to me and more. What am I going to take? What am I going to do? Go start from the beginning and grind again, buy all the chapters, buy the cosmetics I want again, do all the challenges, do all the Steam achievements, get my nurse back to P100, all from the ground up, get all the perks back to level, all purple perks on everything. And, or here you go, have prestige every character, have all the perks, have all the cosmetics, have cosmetics that nobody else has, be able to mix and match cosmetics that are linked together that normal people can't even do. Everybody's pretending like if that wasn't an offer to them, everybody's pretending that if that was an offer to them, no, by no means would they consider that, because that's just, and my point is that whatever happened, the course of events has turned somebody who was a loyal customer into somebody who is now, I don't want to say an enemy. I'm not an enemy of them, but I'm like on the other team. Like now, all my videos, instead of promoting Dead by Daylight, which I guess they kind of still are, but instead of like pointing to behavior, hey, this is a great game and this is Dead by Daylight and you should get it and play it and buy it and have fun with it. Like I don't say that stuff, but you get like making content about something, you're basically showing that and saying that without saying it. And now all of a sudden I'm working for the other team and the other team is taking care of me and they're the competitor. And all of a sudden, it's like, it's kind of backfired on behavior, but I'm not saying that they were at fault. And I'm not saying that they were wrong. I was right. Any of that. I'm not saying this is their fault. I'm not saying I'm not saying I have a vendetta against them. I'm not saying this is about revenge. I'm not saying this is about exposing how evil they are and corrupt and what they've done wrong. If anything, it exposes just the system in that how it backfires and takes people who were customers and not technically hackers themselves, but pushes them onto a path that makes them now become hackers who are no longer customers. And then also on top of that, every time you get banned every couple of days, you're getting thrown back into the lowest MMR. So now you got to hack your way back up by playing a bunch of games. And these hackers that are coming back on new accounts every week, they're starting at low MMR, right? So what does that mean? It means the lowest MMR has the most hacking in it. Because every time you make a new account, you're at the lowest MMR. So all the hacking, not all of it, but most of the hacking takes place in the lowest MMR, which is all the newcomers, which is all the people who are trying to get into the game for the first time. And they're coming into the game and now they're experiencing games where they're just flooded with hackers. Now, I don't know if flooded's the right word or how many there are, but you get what I'm saying. The hackers live in the low MMR, the kiddie pool, because that's where they keep getting sent back to every time they have to make a new account. They start in the kiddie pool and they got to hack their way back up to a higher MMR, which either means escaping 50 matches or it means winning 50 matches as killer. And what do? They run a bot on the killer where they step away from their computer and the killer bot goes in and just slaughters everyone in the first 5 seconds of the game or whatever, 10, 15 seconds of the game. Everybody's on basement hooks. They're all dead because the bot just immediately kills them. And people are confused and they're like, well, I just went up against a hacker that killed us all in 10 seconds. How is that even fun? Well, they don't realize they're not playing against the hacker. They're playing against a bot that is just killing them in order to raise its MMR so that when the hacker gets on the account, they can actually play against good players and higher MMR. So there's that too. In essence, like, isn't that driving away new players because that's what they're experiencing at the lowest MMR? They're getting all the hackers with them. And so there's just a lot of different angles that you could talk about in this. Like, let's say the fact that raising your MMR as a killer is only dependent on killing people, rather than like how many hooks you have, how many hits you got, how many chases you won, and other stats don't affect your MMR. It's only how many people you kill. So that's why the bot goes in, just kills everyone in 10 seconds and goes to the next game, kills everyone. And then when it goes to the end game chat, the bots will actually spam advertisements of the cheats or the cheater themselves to get more traffic to them. So, maybe there's a problem in the system of how MMR goes up. Maybe that should be changed. But you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's talking about what the real problems are and possible solutions to how they could be corrected, avoided, fixed, altered, changed, modified. You know what I'm saying? Like rectified. So long story short, I started because of that whole situation, getting banned, having everything given to me, kind of being pressured into doing it because my friend tried to be nice, get me everything back, thought I would accept it. When I said I don't want to accept it, I still want to like give it time and think it through. But he already put his neck on the line. He already like vouched for me as far as like he already talked to his boss, got all this approval, and now I'm in a position where I'm making him look bad if I back out because he told his boss that I was going to do it. And so I kind of felt like cornered in a way. And I said, okay, what's it going to do? Like a month of this, how bad could it be? Is it really going to destroy everything? Trying this for a month, let's just play with it, see what happens. Let's make some videos, see what people say. I mean, I thought, surely I'm going to lose some of my viewers over this. And I did. There are people that I see comments in different places that say, oh, I used to watch his legit content. He was my favorite nurse, but I no longer watch his content. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, and I see these comments like that. And I think, oh, well, that's sad. I lost people that actually liked my legit gameplay, but I can't. The thing is, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
the minute you change what you're doing to please someone else, you'll upset someone else. And so if you're constantly trying to just, but like I said, I still do love playing legit nurse, and I feel like in many cases, I have more fun and I find it more relaxing, even though it's very stressful playing like perkless nurse. Um, at high MMR, even though it can be very stressful and difficult and frustrating, with the gens popping all in like 3.5 minutes, like with no gen regression. Um, Even though I do find that to be relaxing and I do enjoy playing that, like by myself, just quietly playing nurse games with no hacks whatsoever. I don't want to hack on nurse. But then there's the other side, playing with people and viewers that think the hacks are funny and making little funny hacking videos. Like I came up with the basement Houdini. I invented that. Well, maybe I didn't invent it, but I coined the term and gave it a name and started making it more known. And the basement Houdini is just this funny thing. Maybe I don't know if you've seen it, but it's just this funny thing I do where the killer's chasing me. I deliberately run down to the basement, leaving scratch marks, and they think like, oh, I'm going to get them now because they're going to be trapped in the basement. And they follow me down to the basement, and I go around and I turn around the corner and go by the back lockers. And as the killer's coming down, I just poof, teleport somewhere else entirely on the map, whether it's to the gate or to another survivor or back in the top of shack or whatever, wherever the basement is. And it's called the basement Houdini. And it's just funny because then the killer's down there and they're like checking lockers. They're like, what perks does this person have? Do they have deception? Did they jump in a locker? Do they have quick and quiet? Are they going to head on me? And it's just this funny little thing that I was doing for a while. And you find these funny little things that you come up with that you do. Like the one I've been doing recently is the urban evasion buff, and it's every time I crouch I move like super speed, and so you're crouch walking like super fast, and we call it urban evasion buff. And I'm like, oh, good thing I brought urban evasion. And it's just silly stupid things that you experiment with the hacks, or like you fly to the moon or you fly out of the map and you explore the flat earth or the flat moon, and it's just dumb things, but it's the fact that like people don't see that in every game, so when you do it they find it silly and amusing and you laugh at it. And it's just those little things. And then you get these comments where people are you'll be live streaming and people will be like, I want to see a basement Houdini. And, they're calling for it and they're asking for it. And it's just funny because now you have your own little community of people who are all essentially outcasts. The DBD community is very toxic. And I like to joke around and say it's just a bunch of toxic degenerates. Obviously that's not everybody, but I like to generalize the community as a very unpleasant, mean-spirited place full of miserable people who like to cause other people pain and get satisfaction out of seeing other people hurt because they're not content with their own lives, and it makes them feel better about themselves to feel like other people are suffering. I don't know, this is just like, obviously that's not everybody in the community, but when you get all this hatred, it feels like that. And it makes you want to stand against it more. And it makes you like relish the fact that you're an outcast. And so I put these silly little descriptions in my video titles, like, not all heroes wear capes. I might not be the hero you want, but I'm the hero you need. I'm the Robin Hood of DBD. I never lose. I'm a superhero saving the potatoes. And I just make up these silly things because I roll off of what the comments people are saying, and people say the same thing, like, imagine being so bad you have to cheat. Bro cheats in DBD because he's so bad, my guy Lamau. And so I wrote a song called Imagine Bro My Guy, and we have a little song that we sing, Imagine Bro My Guy, because these people, they parrot each other and they say the same overused cliche buzzwords and think they're original. Imagine bro, my guy, cringe, Lamau, trash, blood spelled
Yeah.
BLUD, and they just use the same words, and so it gets to a point where you're like, you know what? I don't want to be part of your community. You guys are mean. And we have our own little community here, and we have fun, and we're happy people, and we joke around, and we laugh, and we don't take this game that serious. And you want to hate us? Well, we kind of, we're going to stand together. We're going to bind together as the outcasts, and, we're not scared of you, and we're not going to be bullied by you, and we don't want to be part of your community. And that's how it feels. So then it becomes like, okay, fine, you want to say, oh, it's some kind of moral mission. It's not really a moral mission. It's just
Yeah.
we just want to play
Um,
the game and have fun.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this. I really am glad that I got your whole side of things. To be honest, you've answered all of my questions in one, so uh, that's brilliant. But after hearing your side of things, you know what? I don't think I really want to make this video anymore because I can see that you really are just someone who had an unfortunate turn of events, and it's not like you're really going out your way to hurt people. There's been situations where people have deliberately used hacks to keep people in games for hours on end, hijacking people. And I can tell that that's not something you're going to do. And I mean, the video was never really going to be just solely about you. It was going to be about just everything, the entire problem of hacking anyway. And it's more about just the clients themselves and the actual people. So thank you for taking your time. I'm sorry. I've got to leave you because I've
Okay,
got work in 20
but
minutes.
do you mind if I post all this, because I don't want to
Oh yeah,
speak
yeah,
speak for nothing.
yeah, that's completely fine. Of course, yeah. I thought you were going to do that anyway, but
Okay, all right, and feel free if you change your mind, or if anything else. Like, I don't care either way. If you feel compelled to make something, to accomplish something, that's fine. And if you feel like it's not, for whatever reason, it's not the avenue you were trying to do, I don't care either. But, you know, I'll post it anyway because people want to hear it. And, you're free to do whatever you want with it, or talk to me again if you want to, or just drop it. That's all up to you. But,
yeah. But yeah, thank you so much again for just taking the time. It's been brilliant talking to you, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. All right.
okay, you too.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.